fighter planner is Lieutenant Colonel Zaid Peer. The transport planner is Major Mwamba. And the helicopter planner for today's flypast is Major Zanele Vayeke. This team, together with many other support staff and ground crew from various units, have worked many long hours to ensure that the flypast is conducted in a professional and safe manner in order to display an Air Force that inspires confidence through the professional conduct of air defense actions to secure the sovereignty of South African airspace. The South African Air Force Museum display flight leads the flypast with a formation that symbolizes the collective helicopter heritage of the South African Air Force. The helicopter formation includes the Alouette 3 and Puma helicopters. These helicopters, operating in a variety of roles such as training, search and rescue, and utility roles, have laid the foundation for helicopter operations as we know them today. The Heritage Formation is led by Brigadier General Retired Church. Hot on the heels of the Heritage Flypast will be the operational helicopters. The helicopter formation consists of the Augusta A109, the Super Lynx, the Oryx, the Royfalk, and the BK117 helicopters. The Augusta A109 and the Super Lynx were acquired by the South African Air Force as part of the strategic defense packages and are a valuable part of the South African Air Force helicopter fraternity. The helicopter formation is led by Major Wakaba, an operational commander from 19 Squadron. The Augusta A109 and the BK helicopters are both light utility helicopters used for reconnaissance, airborne command and control, trooping, search and rescue, and humanitarian assistance. The Oryx is the SAF's medium utility helicopter, also intended to be utilized for reconnaissance, airborne command and control when required, trooping, search and rescue, casualty evacuations, firefighting, and humanitarian assistance. As displayed recently in the flood reliefs in our neighboring Malawi and Mozambique. But ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the south, the Heritage helicopter formation, the Puma and the Alouette 3. With the upcoming heli formation, these helicopters are strategically based throughout South Africa. The Lynx is based at 22 Squadron, and the Lynx crew today includes the first female pilot to fly the Lynx, Major Apollos. The Royfalk is operated from 16 Squadron, based at Air Force Base Bloemspruit. Helicopter formation, ladies and gentlemen. Have served in various roles in the South African Air Force in the past and have trained many a young aviator. Aircrew who flew some of these aircraft will be some of the commanders that you will see coming up shortly. But to the south, light aircraft formation. The Harvard training aircraft is next on the list. Every pilot has to start their flying training in a basic trainer of some sorts. The Harvard aircraft from the South African Air Force Museum display flight is a training aircraft that served South Africa well. This Harvard is joined by members from the Harvard Club of South Africa, and the formation is led by Colonel Retired de Klerk. The Harvard was replaced by the Pilatus PC-7, which we will be seeing in a short while in the formations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Harvard formation. South African Air Force Museum is the largest military flying museum in the Southern Hemisphere, commemorating the service that members from all walks of life have made over many decades. The Vampire fighter aircraft flown in this salute flypast is a forerunner in the Air Combat Command of the Air role, donating South African Air Force's commitment to the defense of the Republic. And this aircraft is flown by retired fighter pilot Colonel Rama Iyer. Ladies and gentlemen, from the south, the Vampire. The transport aircraft formation consists of a PC-12, the King Air 200, the Cessna 208, the Kaza 212, all from 41 and 44 Squadron. The PC-12 and the King Air are used for semi-VIP transport, while the 208 is a light battlefield support aircraft. The Kaza 212 is mainly used for paratrooping, as you saw this morning, and for light cargo delivery. The lead aircraft in the light aircraft formation is flown by Captain Masimola, an operational commander on the PC-12. Together with him in the formation are the officers commanding 41 Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Malabaloa and Lieutenant Colonel Mabidi Kama, officer commanding 44 Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, the light transport formation. The Lockheed C-130 Hercules aircraft is operated by 28 Squadron from Air Force Base Waterkloof. The C-130 is a tactical battlefield transport capability with a long-range capability for cargo transportation. The C-130 is a versatile aircraft which can be used in various roles, as has been seen in supplying humanitarian relief in Southern Africa of late. The pilots in this aircraft today are Lieutenant Colonel Karo Duvan and Major Nandi Zama, the first two female pilots, the first two female C-130 commanders at 28 Squadron. Together with the C-130 is the basic flying training formation of the Pilatus PC-7 Mark II from the Central Flying School, Langebaan. The Inkwazi formation consists of the South African Air Force's VVIP Boeing business jet, the Falcon 900 and the Falcon 50 aircraft operated by 21 Squadron based at Air Force Base Waterkloof. The Inkwazi formation is led by 21 Squadron officer commanding Colonel Tim Mokwena as pilot in command of the BBJ. Ladies and gentlemen, Inkwazi formation. The Hawk Mark 120 aircraft is operated by 85 Combat Flying School from Air Force Base Makadu. The Hawk is a transonic lead-in fighter trainer encompassing ideal handling characteristics for fighter pilot training. The aircraft is used to train the aspirant fighter pilots in all aspects of modern fighter flying. The aircraft can also be used in a low-threat environment for certain collateral operational tasks, such as limited close air support, combat search and rescue. The Hawk formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Logie, the Ops Co of 85 Combat Flying School, and included in the Hawk formation is Major Mandisa Mfeka, the first African female fighter pilot in the South African Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, Hawk formation. The Gripen is a multi-role fourth-generation fighter aircraft operated by 2 Squadron from Air Force Base Makado. The aircraft is primarily used to protect the sovereignty of our great nation, South Africa, through air defense missions. This Gripen formation is led by the officer commanding 2 Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Josias, call sign Burbu Mashaba. Ladies and gentlemen, look to the south, Gripen formation. The South African Air Force and SAA have partnered in both the technical and operational fields in the past, exhibiting the positive ties that the South African Air Force has toward local industry. Ironically, members of the SAA crew have also obtained their training and previously served in the South African Air Force. Together with the South African Airways Airbus is the official South African Air Force Formation Aerobatic Display Team, the Silver Falcons. These pilots are all flying instructors from the Central Flying School based at Air Force Base Langebaan-Weg. The focus of the Silver Falcon team is to display the intricate flying skills of the South African Air Force military pilots, emphasizing the unique character traits required from the Air Force pilot. The current team flying with the SAA Airbus is team number 82, and that is led by Major Mutlane, an A category flying instructor from Central Flying School. The Airbus formation, once it has passed with the Silver Falcons, will be breaking away, turning out towards the west to reposition for a second fly past. And the Silver Falcons, after breaking away, will form up and reposition for a brief display of the flying skills of this remarkable team. Ladies and gentlemen, from the south, the SAA formation, accompanied by the South African Air Force Silver Falcon Aerobatic Display Team. The captain of the lead aircraft is Captain Andre Steenkamp. Captain Mark Dethium is his co-pilot, with First Officer Mondi Gogia as the first officer in the lead aircraft. The second aircraft is flown by Captain Pierre Gous, Captain Vusi Kumalo, and Flight First Officer Henny Bardenos. Ladies and gentlemen, SAA and Falcons. In the South African Airways aircraft, the 6 cockpit crew members have amassed over 110,000 flying hours between the 6 of them. The Airbus A340-600 is the second largest aircraft in the Airbus range of aircraft and the largest passenger aircraft in the South African Air Force fleet. This aircraft is capable of carrying 317 passengers with a crew complement of 14. The aircraft cruises at 880 kilometers per hour. It can travel a distance of 14,000 kilometers. And when fully fueled, the Airbus A340 takes 195,000 liters of fuel. The 3 crew members who previously served in the South African Air Force, Captain Steenkamp was previously an Air Force helicopter pilot. Captain Pierre Gous was an Air Force transport pilot. And First Officer Monde Goyia was a first officer at the VVIP Squadron, 21 Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, the SAA formation. As South African Airways departs, we prepare for the arrival of the Silver Falcon aerobatic team number 82. The pilots in this team are all highly skilled instructors from the Central Flying School at Langebaan. Their participation in the Silver Falcon team is a voluntary responsibility that they do over and above their daily task of teaching the next generation of Air Force pilots to fly. The upcoming display will briefly showcase the skills and professionalism of the South African Air Force aerobatic display team, led by Major Motlane. Number 2 is Major Tian Stander, a helicopter pilot. Number 3, Major Corne van Deventer, a Hawk pilot. Number 4 is Major Beki Shabangu, a transport pilot. And number 5 is Major Sivuyile Tangana, also a helicopter pilot. The sequence, as we have seen now, with the Falcons coming in, was running in a starfighter formation. They're doing a wing over to the left, changing into Vixen formation, coming for the double rollback into a Cobra formation. From Cobra formation, it'll be a wing over left into a quarter clover to turn through 180 degrees and then to pull up into a Vic formation before exiting the display area. The instructors from Central Flying School have a daily responsibility to ensure that the future pilots of the Air Force are adequately trained using the aircraft of the Pilatus PC-7, developing the skills of the young officers. These instructors train the pilots who will become the future Hawk and Gripen and helicopter pilots of the South African Air Force. As the Falcons pull up for the wing over, They're going to be positioning for a break and exiting the display area before our final salute. The Pilatus PC-7 is an ideal trainer as it grooms the young pilot to transition seamlessly onto the Hawk lead-in fighter trainer, and from there into the Gripen 4th generation combat aircraft. Pilatus PC-7 is powered by a Pratt & Whitney engine, and the speeds that this crew have flown during this demonstration have ranged from 200 kilometers an hour to over 500 kilometers an hour, just 2 meters apart from each other. Ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Falcons. Closing out the salute fly past is the renowned 2 Squadron, again displaying the might and the skill of the air combat capability of the South African Air Force. The upcoming sequence will depict the Gripen in a simulated air patrol, a formation of aircraft overflying a target with one aircraft breaking off from the formation in order to conduct a visual reconnaissance profile on a suspicious target on the ground. This visual reconnaissance profile is depicted in tight turns to the right and then to the left, and low passes as conducted by the pilots. Ladies and gentlemen, the final salute from the Gripen from 2 Squadron. Call sign midnight, breaking off, turning out to the right to reposition and continue with a 180 visual recce over the stadium today. The Gripen show of force is a reminder of one of the roles of the South African National Defence Force is to defend the Constitution, a responsibility that is not taken lightly. This South African Air Force salute to the newly inaugurated Commander-in-Chief of the South African National Defence Force has been conducted with a fine balance of pride and humility, while ever being mindful of the awesome responsibility required from an Air Force that must inspire confidence, all in the service and defence of this, our great nation, the Republic of South Africa.